Hi folks, welcome to my Bit Retro Journal. Today I'm playing around with my virtual microdrive. I've taken it apart and soldered something on it. So first, just to give you a little bit of rundown on this. So this is, I usually have my microdrive sitting sort of in this direction on top of my QL. This is a box that I built myself, and so you can see that it has mounting tabs right here and right here. There's actually ones on the other side that mount to the top of the unit, right here and right here. There's also so there's tabs also on the sides here. You can see right here and right there. Yeah, so I built this case myself. So this original, so there's a daughter board on here that sits on top of this, and the original case that this was made for was actually a case that was made for both the ZX Spectrum and the QL'er QL that sort of sat on the side of this next to it. And it was the QL version was actually as wide as a QL and as high as a QL. Now Charlie, who designed these, actually redesigned the QL one to be, I think, one rung narrower, so it's just about this narrow, but it's still the same height. And the reason you know, and this is, I modified this. This is normally higher. Generally, it has, it comes with this piece, which I believe goes, I think it goes in here like that. It has a faceplate that sits in the front, and then it has this piece right here where this kind of goes to the motherboard. I think like this. So it adds a bit of a height to the motherboard, and in fact the height it adds is this height right here. So if you can see, there's this is a pin that sits on top, and so basically when Charlie printed this 3D mount, so you put one with longer pins in here, that solders to the board, and this thing stacks on top of that, and so that allows for it to be higher. And so there's actually room between this I think there's a chip under here and this card, and I reduced it by this size, or by one of these pin headers. In fact, I can actually get back the original by putting this between the board, and I could mount it on the original one. So this is about you know, that much thinner, I guess, is one way you can look at it. Plus, I tried to maximize the thickness here. The other thing I did with this is that I can actually, I have the feet and the top, and I can do it so the top is on here, and the feet are on the bottom, which is not how I usually do it. Or I can flip it around and have this be the top. Yeah, that's how I usually do it, and have the feet be on the bottom. So, and that way I can sort of sit it on top of the QL. And this cable basically can either sit on like this, or it can sit on like this, so that it's either sits like this or it can sit like that. If you ever wanted to see what the reason why Charlie designed it this way is because so if you take a look at this, is an original microdrive. You can see that it has a big fat, I actually have a spare motor. I think I must have had a second one that broke, because I have a spare motor and a spare switch. I also found this, but I don't think this actually goes to the microdrive. I think this is came out of a cassette deck, but they are very similar. But you can see that they're much higher, and because they have to actually be the height of this, if you ever want to see how this actually goes in, ever wanted to see that, so they just kind of fit in like that, boom, and this roller rolls and moves the tape along. This switch tells the computer that the tape is in. But yeah, so I modified this, but one thing that I miss is that tape sound that this gets. So let me demonstrate to you. So that's what this little device here is supposed to do. It's got a little microcontroller on it. It's got a speaker, which I've desoldered because I want to try different speakers. So this all came about because Noel from Noel's Retro Lab had emailed me recently saying, hey, I just did the mod for my vDrive and it sounds horrible. Have you done yours yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't done it yet. So I did mine. It was just a simple mod, just soldering on three lines. Basically, this is this one's before the resistor on the red LED, and then this is the power ground and 5 volts on the board. And so, wow, this is not holding up. And so I wanted to give this a try, and so I already did. It does not sound good, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And then I want to see if I can't find a solution to this, because I kind of want the sound. It's a nice sound to have, but at the same time, you'll see that the high-pitched tone is, man, this is not, this keeps coming off on me. Let's see if I can, see, you wrap it around there so it doesn't come off, and then wrap this around this side so it doesn't come off. There we go. Yeah. I tinned the end of those wires. There we go. So I have that. So I'm going to put a protective cover on here, and then I'm going to put this on here, like that. And then I'm going to put my cable, which goes like that, in here and in here. Alright, so this is actually good to go now, and I can, so this is connected, so I can turn it on. So I'm going to turn the QL'er on. And I indeed get the boot up screen. I know you can't see it. I always like to have the monitor somehow connected well, showing in my videos, but there's just not enough room today. So if I boot this up, you'll see, I'll give you the sound that this makes. If I plug this in, make sure this is also in focus. Yeah. So if I plug this in, that's the sound I'm looking for. It's actually kind of a nice sound. Now this is a misaligned tape. I think this is back from the 90's. I can read this information if I just kind of lift the right side of it up. And you can hear it's making quite a little different sound. And it's going to go through another 8 or 9 seconds, and then it's going to have this really nice, pleasant finish to it, if it works. There it is. Oh, that's nice. And you can see that if I roll this up, that I have it on my desktop. All right. So bringing this back down, making sure that we're focused on the center. So, but let's see what this. So you'll see what this one sounds like. It does not sound like that at all. So if I turn one over, and here it goes. Yeah, it's got a high pitch to it, and it does not sound good. Yeah, that is not a good sound. I mean, it's really grating. One thing that I tried is if you try to muffle it, you can see what that sounds like. So put it in one of these all the way down at the bottom. So I kind of want this to go down to the bottom. I won't stay up. I need to wait. Oh, here it goes. That's a little better. All right, now if I do it again. So it's a little better. It's not quite as high pitched, but still kind of annoying. I have it. I suppose if I take one of these and just kind of, maybe if I seal up the top end of it, how will it sound then? And I don't want this to short itself. There we go. I mean, it's quieter, which works, but it's still annoying. So we still haven't. I mean, it's still at high pitch. It's hard to live with that. All right. So now if I could somehow. What if I can completely seal it from the outside world? Huh. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah. All right. So this speaker is just, I don't know, but I don't know if it's. I don't think it's necessarily the speaker though either. So I have this thing right here, which is just a normal old, I don't know how many watt speaker it is, but if I do that, and so red goes to yellow, and I tint these so they should work. Come on. That's what happens when you tint it. There we go. And black goes to ground. I don't think on a speaker it actually matters. I think I've miswired them and they didn't do anything bad to the speaker. Alright, so that's plugged in. What does that sound like? Whew! That's just an amplified version of that sound. That is not a good sound. Yeah, it just sounds like an alarm. Yeah, that's not a good sound. Alright, so that is not a good sound. I have a bigger speaker. Now, I don't know. I would imagine that the bigger the speaker, the more likely you're going to need more volume to run it, so maybe it sounds better. And it actually got worse. So not that speaker. So I have this thing. I don't know where this is coming from. It looks like it's a, I don't know if it's a microphone or if it's a speaker, but give that a try, right? Let's see if this, hook it up to this. All right, got that hooked up. Let's see what this gives us. Well, that's the best sound of them all. It doesn't do anything. So it's not working. It's connected, so maybe it's broken, I don't know. But it's not driving it at all. Huh. All right, so then I also have, so that is a no-go. I have this thing, which is one of those earbuds. And this has two really fine wires, so I don't know how to... What I can do is I can just sort of touch both sides and hope that they connect. Here they go. It's connected, but like the earbud, it's not giving any sound. Yeah, that is not working either. And I'm pulling both wires with the two connected wires, so that's not working either. So the only thing I can try is, what if I put a resistor on this thing, which basically is like a potentiometer that's going to reduce its output. Would that help? So let me find a resistor and see if I can help the output, because as I said, it's what I'm looking for is... I can try the first drive just to move it over to MDV1. But it's that physical, yeah, that's just a nice sound. I mean, it's a nostalgic sound, but at the same time it has that low resonance. It doesn't have that high pitch to it that this particular device is doing, and might just be better off not having it. So there's another, so this was done by a guy named Johan in Europe. There's another guy in UK, Stephen Usher, who did a similar device, but he actually put it on a chip that, and I don't know the details at the moment, that recorded a second of audio of this, and then he's playing it back in a loop. And that actually sounds pretty good. Again, his is higher, but I think it just depends on what audio we recorded. But if I could get it to sound like that, I could live with that. That'd be kind of nice to have that. I will say that, let me put this back on here for a second. So, so this actually I need to. Again, this has just been misaligned, I think. But if you do that, it's going to find. I think also the tape must have been spiced because I can feel it hit when it. This thing tends to be an MDV2 better than MDV1. Come on. Yeah, so this is sort of a. But I knew this was a bad tape. But this kind of brings back memories of the 90s when you had a bad tape drive. You would just sit there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did end up reading it, so you can see if I move the camera up temporarily, I did read it. So, as I said, I can get this tape to read on both drives. It's just I need to torque it in this direction. It's kind of weird. Don't know why. I've already gotten the information off of this. I don't know why I didn't reformat it. But yeah, let's do. Let me demonstrate one more thing that I like about the tape, because it's not as prominent when you just hear it continuously. But if you can actually get this, there we go. So if I actually, so again, mind the high-pitched shrill for a second. If I can get, oh, actually I shouldn't have done that. I didn't need to do it. Or I should say I didn't need to do it. So the only nice thing about the microdrive, or the one nice thing about the microdrive is it actually, I think if I go copy MDV 3 CMD C to con mode 4, copy MDV 3 CMD C to con. This was also sort of a nice little sound. So as it's kind of hitting each sector and then displaying it on the screen, hitting each sector, you could really see how the whole thing was working. And it sounds even better when it's on a real microdrive. So I think the only thing that's left to do here, before unsoldering it and kicking it, sort of tossing this into the bin of no, it's no good, is to, I mean, the other thing is if you look at this particular device, and I don't want to move it right now, that I guess I should, if you kind of take a look at it, this is a little USB stick. So you might be able to program it, but I don't know what you need to program it. I guess I could try to stick it into my laptop to see what happens when I when I do that. But for now, I think what I want to do is if I can put a resistor on this end, maybe it, you know, if it reduces the audio level to just a low hum, maybe it's usable. But at the moment, it's not. So let me do that. So I'll be back. Let me scour for a resistor. And if I have one, then I'm going to try to see if I can put it between the two. Probably temporarily. I'm not going to sit there and... again, things I've tried already were these four, and they were not successful. I don't have anything else at the moment. All right, so I'm going to be back. All right, I'm back, and instead of getting a resistor, I actually have a volume variable potentiometer. So let's see what we can get with that. Well, what if we put it away in something to get it lower bass, and then we turn the volume down? All right, here we go. That wouldn't be bad. I mean, it's, I don't know, it still has that high pitch. There's just no way to get around it. You know, it's like even... It's too bad. I mean, that is kind of okay, but I mean, now this does have, so I think one thing this is supposed to tape onto something. And okay, we can do it that way, I suppose. Let's actually put the tape in here so that this has some, oh, it's on the other side. So this has some weight to it. Alright, let's see what this gives us. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately it's almost like it's worse when it one more time. Yeah. It's just so rickety that I don't know why anyone thought this would be a good sound. Now, I'm going to punt on this. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think there's a good way for this to work. It's not going to... I think it's always going to have that high shrill to it, and again, the whole sound that we're after is this. Let's not short anything out here. The whole sound we're after is this unique. And that just doesn't have that high shrill in there. So yeah, I think I'm going to punt on this. We're going to keep the vDrive quiet for now. Might have to try Stephen Usher's attempt of recording the audio and putting that in on a little chip and then putting it in there. This particular one, again, I'll have to research what you can actually do with this because there is a USB end on this, but whatever is recorded on there now is not good. So I think his name is Johan Ergal that created this device. You can get him on Sell My Retro. But it just doesn't sound good, unfortunately. I mean, it's a great idea, but and again, this is obviously not going to. So I am going to wrap up with that today on my journal entry. So not very successful, but anyway, just puttering around on stuff. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you stay safe.